Hello and welcome to the Astrology and Spirituality Overview Show for welcome, and due to popular demand, we've got to have the thought for today again.
Yay.
So Elisa's shaking the jar.
Yeah, and it's your turn to pick now. Today.
Okay, right. So roll of drums. So closing my eyes so I'm not influencing this. So what we got today?
Ooh, it's an interesting
holding
one.
grudges.
Wow, let's show them that. So holding, I don't know if you can see, holding grudges. Wow, that's a pretty deep message for today, really.
Yeah,
but
what's your take on that then?
I think it's something that we all sort of can go through in life. I know that I have held grudges against people. I think for some of us, it's harder to break away from that than others. But I think, you know, the word forgiveness also comes up in that. But, you know, holding a grudge tends to happen when something hasn't been released. So either the problem hasn't been talked about, discussed.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Because you circled back on yourself almost straight away. Mm-hmm. But what about if the perpetrator has never taken responsibility or doesn't even see that there's an issue and actually guilt bombs the other person because they do have an issue with that behaviour that they don't want to look at? And if you're in any kind of collective where people can be quite sheep-like, joined together, oh, don't go on, all this kind of stuff.
Mob mentality.
Mob mentality. So there's no opportunity to validate the complaint. That actually can be really difficult. So that's when I think people end up holding on to emotions because they don't have an opportunity to clear them through.
I think that's when cutting those cords and cutting those connections from those people is healthy. Because we sometimes have said in these videos that sometimes in the new age, it's very quick to say, okay, cut that person out if they're toxic.
Yeah.
When sometimes people deserve a second chance because we all make mistakes.
Also, we need to try to understand what people are going through. So,
but on the other hand, you know, sometimes there is a right time to walk away.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if that person doesn't apologise, we just go over and over it in our minds. It creates a prison of destructive
and it can go on
stress.
for years.
Yeah.
And it's happened to me where, you know, someone has decided that they don't want the kind of relationship in the family. This was. They didn't want the type of relationship we used to have, so that was entirely their judgment call. It was never explained. Nothing was ever done radically to deserve that exclusion. And if ever there was any problems for that person, they were sure on the phone pretty quick to me with my Chiron in the 4th house, which is about listening. And so in those kind of situations, the sense of injustice can actually burn away.
It can creep up as well. Like I've been having some feelings lately of things that have happened in past friendships that happened like 10, 11 years ago when I was like, you know, a teenager. I was 19, 18, 19. And the anger that can still come up from that now, of the injustice of it, is quite incredible. So sometimes we think we've moved on. But
I think that's really true, because even if you're into personal development work and we try to hold things and you hear people say, I've really held that, I've really looked at it, I've seen this new way of looking at it, and it's amazing how deep roots of pain and anger can be really right down in the depths of our very being. Yeah. I think I've said before, I really believe in Gestalt, so I really believe that the body holds memories of pain, physical pain.
I believe that,
The astrology today, weirdly, is the moon is conjunct Mercury in Aquarius, which is kind of like really quite logical. But I was just wondering, as we were talking about holding grudges, please share your experience with us. But I have a lot of fixed in my chart. So fixed means there's sort of a greater tendency to stay with what you know, whereas mutable can flex, and so that can help people to move on a bit quicker. But if you have fixed or cardinal, which of course is very proud and likes to be in charge, so you have a lot of cardinal and fixed in your chart, maybe it's more difficult to let go of injustices. But I do think we're not even talking about where there's been some kind of disagreement. It's more where I feel there's been a denial of some kind of resolution services, if you like. There was never a proper discussion where people actually said, okay, you've annoyed me.
No closure.
No closure. There's no explanation. What we do in society a lot is exclude. So whether it's just dropping someone from being a friend on Facebook, which I've done to people who I feel, don't deserve to be part of but I do that extraordinarily reluctantly, because I feel that, retaliations around stuff like that, especially over trivial issues, you just got to let it go. And of course, there's a lot of people commenting on my Facebook channel at the moment who have profoundly different views to me about quite a few things, whether it be Brexit, whether it be COVID, whether it be the government's handling, whether it be politics. I mean, one person did drop me not that long ago because I didn't think the British government were doing a very good job of handling COVID at the outset of the outbreak. So because I had some trenchant views about this person dropped me from being a friend. So, it does go both ways. But yeah, bearing grudges, I've definitely been someone who's held on to stuff myself, but I think a lot of it comes from a denial of an opportunity to talk it through. So with the moon and Mercury conjunct in Aquarius, they're a wonderful combination to bring a bit of clarity, a bit of detachment, a bit of logic to something that might be a bit tricky, but at the same time, Aquarius energy is fixed. So Aquarius people may feel that others have failed them because they don't come up to their high standards. Other people may feel that Aquarius people are a bit pompous, or maybe think they're noble but don't walk the talk. So all these kind of things are threaded through these kind of situations.
That's really true. I think the important thing to remember is that we're not doing spirituality wrong, or we're not doing personal development wrong if we have feelings that are negative. It's not about always feeling the positive feelings in life.
I have to say, some of the most ruthless people I've ever met have been so-called spiritual people.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest
I've
about
had that experience as well.
Therapists, believe me.
Yeah.
When you get a pack of therapists after you, because, well, I won't go there.
Therapists.
And honestly, confidential discussions and treatments go right out the window when suddenly you're seen as being a particular type of character that you're not, but the conspiracy is hatched that you're some kind of awful person. Some therapists and personal development type people are some of the most ruthless people I have ever experienced, without any question at all.
When all is said and done, people are people, and whether they're on doing some kind of spiritual work, whether they have like a channel, or whether they have like a website or whatever, they have their undercurrent of other sides of their personality. We all do, but some people's are not as glowing as they may suggest. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you can have people who are more obviously flawed, might effing blind, might get it wrong quite a lot more, that actually can be as genuine as the day's long.
Yeah.
Just because someone doesn't appear to be a certain way doesn't make them a bad person. They might actually tell you to go and do one, but actually there's a sort of realness about that, which personally I really appreciate. Was
authenticity,
was this closing out without discussion. I think that's the thing that's caused me the greatest amount of grudge holding in my life, rather than full on sort of, bickering or having a complete disagreement of views, which you can sort of like, in the old days, you sort of like just shake each other's hand and say, well, we got that off our chest.
The pre-COVID days.
The pre-COVID days, clearly. So interesting one.
Yeah, so
Bearing grudges.
Yeah, not got a one-fits-all answer, I'm afraid, to how to overcome holding grudges. I think some of it is time, some of it is patience, and some of it is just what we can take control of ourselves, because we cannot control the people that have wronged us. We cannot force them to apologise, and that is sometimes the most frustrating thing about it all.
Or perhaps they never see it. And the other thing, of course, we will all say, if we, with a grain of compassion, that look, perhaps that person reacted because of something that was going on in their situation, which is fair enough. But actually, it doesn't take away from the pain that the person who's feeling that pain is having. So. Some complex stuff there, but yeah, certainly for me, holding grudges has been a thing, but usually it's that denial of a frank discussion. Even if someone tells me they don't like me, don't like what I did, I can deal with all of that, but it's when it's denied, you're just frozen out.
Yeah, well, you're made to be the villain of the tale.
Yeah.
Even though life just isn't that clear.
And the narrative that's developed, if you've ever been in group situations where someone gets the upper hand on the narrative and you've got other people who go along with that narrative who, to be honest, don't have very much insight, or just have some kind of conditioning, which means that they follow that lead. If you've ever been around a situation like that, it's very frustrating and very hard not to bear a grudge.
On that cheerful note for today, if you would like to read your daily horoscope, see what's, energy is going on for your personal zodiac sign, you can find that in the description box beneath this video. I'm very sorry that I didn't include it yesterday.
I'm holding a grudge.
And Patrick kindly put the link to that.
Only because someone told me it wasn't there.
So I apologise for that.
Yes, outrageous oversight, I think, don't you? Yes, indeed.
So until we speak again tomorrow, take care, and it's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thursday.